Oh, oh, yay! Sorry, guys. New software. Next week, my son's he's coming home from college and he's gonna help me out with this. Okay, but I'm super excited. Welcome to Texas Tuesday. Thanks for your patience. Today, I wanted to highlight a couple of the dream home questionnaires that we got in so we can help you guys narrow down where to move in Texas. And I thought it would be interesting to highlight a city as well. So our office is in Southlake, and so I thought we would highlight Southlake today as well. And I did put a poll on the YouTube channel today of what you would like to get from these Texas Tuesdays. So if you'll go to that would help me out. Right now, most of the people are saying that they would like tips on moving to Texas. And so we're going to gather our information, put our heads together, and next week, Texas Tuesday Live at 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, we are going to share tips on moving to Texas. So thanks so much for contributing to that. Let's get started. So let's first talk about Southlake, and I have my team here. That's who I'm looking at. Let's talk about Southlake, the pros and cons. Feel free to share pros and cons. And then if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. And even if it's not regarding Southlake, that's okay. We'll still address them on this live broadcast, okay? So we'll just take a few minutes to talk about pros and cons of Southlake. All of us are very familiar. A couple of our team members live here in Southlake. So I'm going to turn this around. And all right, let's first talk about what would you guys say are some pros, or why are you finding that many people want to move to Southlake?
Well, the main one is, of course, Carroll ISD. Mm-hmm. It's one of the best school districts in the nation, also the #1 school district for test scores in Texas. And you just get so much with it. I mean, Carroll ISD is wonderful. The school systems are great. Sports are great over here. So overall,
Fun fact about Carroll ISD, our Keller Williams here in Southlake, our luxury division actually is one of the sponsors for Carroll ISD.
Oh yeah, that's right. Cool. That's right.
They helped to sponsor those.
Uh-huh. What are okay, Mr. Robert, you're the Southlake expert.
So Southlake and Carroll, it's a little bit unique city in the whole North Texas area. The reason for it is because, first of all, it's a very European feeling. We have what's called Town Square, which is really beautiful. People come from all over Dallas town, all over the Metroplex to come. It's a very low setting. You have all kinds of retail, both mom and pop type of shop and like high-end retail. Restaurants, lots of fun things. We have lots of green space, so the kids just love to park there, go around, spend the whole Sunday, and so that's a little bit unique. So very European with this low setting. No multifamily in Southlake. There's no public transportation. It is very green. What people don't realize, Southlake is very green. There are a lot of beautiful neighborhoods, very established, big trees. The school, obviously, we already said, is fantastic. But also, what's different between these schools and many other schools, that you become a dragon from the moment you step foot into the school. So from kindergarten all the way out to high school. So it's pretty much unique. No other school around here do that. They have different mascot, different setting. Carroll, you become a dragon for life. So it's
you're a dragon for life. Do you start breathing fire?
Yes. So it is. The community really revolves around the school. It's very around that, but the facility are amazing. The public parks, recreational, everything is pretty top notch. So what else? I would say that's kind of really what. Also, the other thing about Carroll and Southlake, it's a very. There's no really a bad area in town. So pretty much the whole city, it's very uniform.
Yes.
Okay, I have to comment on that. Because I once had a client call and they go, what are the bad areas? Where do I need to avoid in Southlake? And I'm like, there's no bad place in Southlake. The only thing I would be cautious of in that regard is if you specifically want Carroll ISD, there are some Southlake addresses that go to Keller, but you can, if you have the Southlake address, you can still apply to go into Carroll. Do you know?
If you have a Southlake, yes. If you live within the city of Southlake, you have what's called the open enrollment, which to this day we never had anybody not being able to get into the school. you have to apply for it.
Open enrollment if you have a Southlake address, but are zoned for Keller schools or Grapevine,
Correct. The
right?
main difference, you will not get the bus transportation. So if you're not
Okay.
within this, if you're not in the school district, you would have to take the kids driving to school.
Got
I was
it.
reading on that too. You have to reapply for it every year.
Okay,
You do,
okay.
But it's very easy
Yeah.
process, and they don't guarantee, but if you have one kid in, usually the siblings get in too. So it's so far, the school is not overrun, and Southlake is about 95% built out, so there's really no more residential, or at least not to a point where
Not too
it's
much.
gonna
yeah.
change the school.
Yeah.
So there's always gonna be plenty of space. I mean, we're fine with that. It's not.
I think another great thing about Southlake is the location in the Metroplex. I don't know if y'all can see this here, but this
Oh.
little red dot is Southlake. This is Fort Worth and this is Dallas. So you're pretty evenly distanced from Fort Worth and Dallas when you're in Southlake.
Yes, so I'm gonna show on here, again, I am a newbie at this.
Oh, you have a map. That's way better.
I
than
do,
myself.
look.
Oh, look at that.
So we love Southlake because of the location. It's what, 10, 15 minutes from the airport.
Yeah.
And you can commute to Dallas quite easily, commute to Fort Worth quite easily. I like how it is surrounded by really nice cities. That's kind of, in my opinion, the difference between some of these really nice high-end areas in Dallas and the high-end areas in Fort Worth is
That's true.
it's all
You
encompassing.
go 6 minutes and you're still in a similar vibe.
Yes, yes. And in Dallas, that's not really true. 6 minutes and in a completely different vibe. So on that, I'm glad you said that because I was going to mention, I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on, I'm going to stop the screen. What do you feel the vibe is of Southlake? And this is not rehearsed, guys.
I mean, I love the parental involvement.
Oh,
in
yes.
The schools, you'll see soccer. I mean, parents are involved, super involved. And I think a lot of stay-at-home moms live in Southlake also.
Mm-hmm.
So you always have, support if you're stay-at-home. So you don't have to feel isolated.
Oh,
So
that's a good point.
I have a lot of friends, and my two brothers live in Southlake, and so they love it there. There's always something to do.
Yes. Lots of things to
And
do.
it's a very clean, well manicured city. So I think a lot of times you kind of take it for granted, but no city looks as pristine and clean.
That's
as
true.
Southlake. It is just gorgeous
True.
to just kind of like go to the shopping centers down in Southlake. And
Grocery shopping.
just even grocery shop, everything is just clean. You will not find, market great, but you will not find litter like at all.
You won't find litter. That's true. We take that for granted, don't we?
Parks.
Yeah.
Bicentennial Park.
Yeah,
Bicentennial
Green,
Park.
a lot of parks, yeah.
I think of like
Jones.
upscale, and I grew up in like very rural, like chickens, goats, like country. And so whenever we would go to Southlake, it was like, we're going to Southlake. Like it felt very like almost regal, which it's not going to feel that way to everyone who's like used to that. But for someone who grew up way more country, it feels very elevated and very like the shopping centers are a little bit more luxe than maybe what I would get going to like the Denton Mall, you know?
So on that, there's a lot, if you're online and you're Googling what Southlake is like, you're going to hear a lot of things about them being stuck up. Do you guys feel like there's a stuck up vibe of Southlake being real?
I've never noticed that just being out and about.
I've actually had someone ask me that this week, like, where is the area? Where's the people about that are stuck up in like the area people? And I haven't experienced it. I truly haven't experienced it. I mean, coming out the South, like they look you in the eye. It's yes, ma'am, yes, sir. You know, they're very
They're friendly. It's Texas.
I have, yeah. I mean, it's just the Texas values. I have not experienced that at all.
Yeah, and I've had that come up too, and I kind of jokingly, said something to my client. I said, "Gosh, I think it's an internal rumor because people, just like they're trying to make a rumor happen because they don't want everybody moving to their town."
It's a strategy right there.
It almost feels like it's the opposite. Like they must be so happy to be in Southlake because they're always in a good mood. Like, when you have a good environment around you, you notice that people are acting different. They're in a good mood. You can strike up a conversation with them. They're pleasant because they feel good because they live in Southlake.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, any other comments on that?
Well, I was just gonna say there's lots of people always outside too here, I've noticed. Like you'll drive around and there's always someone walking, jogging, dogs, people with stroller, like it's dogs in strollers is a very a little Louis Vuitton stroller. It is a thing. But I feel like that a lot of people I know of our clients say, I want a community where I can be out and about and I can feel safe and have friends and whatever else. And so I feel like Southlake is definitely that. There's always people outside. There's a lot of shopping that is outside as well. Like the different,
It's
you're
a
not
nice
going
hangout
inside
area.
a mall.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
it's
We
really
drop
beautiful.
our teenage daughter off with her friends, and we're not concerned about if anything's going to happen to her. We really like Southlake. It's a great place to hang out. In fact, the neighboring cities go to Southlake to hang out.
Yes, that's definitely true.
That's very
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
And then, well, obviously, if sports and schools, it's important to you. One thing I want to tell people, because you always hear like Carroll is so competitive, it's so top notch and all that. And my kids are all in Carroll ISD, and I don't have any. Let's just say that my kids are just average sport going. They don't do anything to the top. But my point is that you're not intimidated. So yes, we have the top-notch football team, but we have also so many not. Like you have different levels. So if your kids want to play football, they will be able to play football. Maybe not on the top team, but they're still going to play. Same with everything else, swimming, lacrosse, and all that. So anything you want to do, you will be able to do it through the school. And it's not that you always have to be top notch.
Okay, I always thought you had to be top notch.
I thought so too.
No,
That's
it's
good
not
to
like
know.
that. You can actually do it for fun, and that's what I like about the school. It's really easygoing. It's not, it depends what you are. If you're a really high achiever and you want to go, our Haley Hernandez just made it to the Olympics, right? She was on the diving team and got to the end. So yes, if you want to go to the Olympic, this is the school for you. But if you just if you want to just kick the ball around, that's what you can do too. I mean, that's really what Southlake's about.
Okay, so if you couldn't understand the accent, he said, if you want your kids to go to the Olympics, this is the school for you. Results may vary.
Hey, on the other flip side, their band is also phenomenal.
Okay,
You know, when
okay.
it's a good football team, they have to have a band to support.
Yeah, they do.
So you don't have to play sports, right? So if you're musical inclined, they have a phenomenal band over there.
Very good. Any final thoughts on Southlake? Because then we're about to go into.
I'll give my
Dream
pro
Home.
and my quick con. My
Okay.
pro is that Southlake is a true luxury city. So as opposed to a lot of other cities, maybe like Frisco, even Highland Park, yes, but Southlake is much bigger than Highland Park, and so it really is about 750,000 and up for your price point. I think one day pretty quickly it's going to be $1 million
Million
and up.
plus.
Southlake.
Yeah.
And then the con that I would say about Southlake is there's not a lot of new construction. Like Robert said, it's about 95% built out. So you are going to have a lot older homes, but there are some that they'll tear down smaller homes on acreage and build a custom home. Or there is 2 new communities right now that they are still building there.
But that's
In
like
Southlake.
$1 million plus.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
more like 2
More like
million.
3.
Yeah, it's-
Yeah,
More like
some that's
3.
3 million, but
Yeah, the new build in Southlake would be 3.
Right.
2.5, 3.
Yeah.
Just nothing less.
Okay, so now that you mentioned cons, are there any other cons that you guys can think about Southlake?
well, I think if you're looking for small schools like high school, there's only one high school in Southlake. All the small elementary school feed into one high school. So you're going to be in a big population in the high school. So
Yeah, that's a pro or a
it's
con.
different. Right?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great thing. Yeah.
That
Then
is
other
true.
Schools where, because Allen or Frisco has multiple schools, high schools, but in Southlake they feed into one. So that's
Yeah.
And just to clarify that, she's correct. It's one, we do have 2, right? They split the,
senior. and
yeah, we
junior.
have it's not really, but it's like they split the 2. So first 2 years is on one, and then you go the next 2. And they have bus shuttles between the 2. So if you are in the junior one, you still do classes in the senior, like arts and things like that. So you get exposed to both. So they did that for the purpose to keep just one school, like you were
So
saying.
the graduating
Yeah.
class will be like 1,000 plus.
Whoa.
Correct.
Versus 400. So that's
Okay.
a consideration.
That does make a huge
Y'all, I
difference.
graduated with 48 people in my high school class.
Yeehaw!
I love chickens.
And some chickens.
on our classes.
Okay, that's really awesome. Thank you guys for sharing on Southlake. Now we're going to go over a couple of the Dream Home questionnaires. By the way, if you haven't filled one out, click the link below, fill out the Dream Home questionnaire, and you'll schedule a Zoom, a one-on-one with one of our buyer experts here. So that's really cool. But let's get started in that. Kay, you want to go first?
Yeah, absolutely. I have Albert's questionnaire over here. They are needing help narrowing down some areas. I know that they were looking at Houston, but they're open to Dallas. And I'm really glad that we had that Southlake conversation today, just based on their questionnaire. It looks like space is really important to them. And they're looking at homes up to 20 years old, which really you can find in Southlake at the price point that they're looking at, up to $1 million. I definitely think that there's a lot out there, and you get a lot more space with the homes in Southlake. You're going to see that you can get yards that are half acre to an acre lots versus Frisco, where you're going to see much smaller lot sizes. Obviously the homes are a little bit older, but I think that you get a lot more.
They're also more custom though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because most of those, would you say up to $1 million?
Up to $1 million.
Up to $1 million. Most of them are production homes in Frisco.
Yes.
Even though they're nice.
Yes, they're beautiful, but you do get the custom home over here in Southlake, which is very cool. You can find 2,500 plus square feet. You can get larger lots. You can find all of these items. If you want to have a pool, I know that they mentioned that they would like to have a pool. There are homes with pools or enough space for you to build one.
Okay. So that was a good one. I have one here too.
People, I'm gonna touch on that real quick. People looking for larger lots, I typically see them gravitate more towards Southlake instead of Frisco, because Frisco has a lot of small lots. They build them close and compact. Whereas Southlake, because it's a more established neighborhood that's older, they used to build them on wider lots. So they typically will have wider homes. They also have more established trees. Versus Frisco, they go in and try to cram. It's a lot
In the
tighter.
master plan community.
Yeah. Even on their 2010 homes, they're still, I've seen them just a side yard with an alley in the back, brick wall to brick wall in Frisco. So it can get small.
Well, one thing I did just want to touch on that note is that you do get more of a hometown feel in Southlake versus Frisco, which just feels more of like a traditional suburb, I would say, versus a luxury community and more
That's
of a hometown feel. So I think that there is a difference there too. So it depends on the environment you're looking for.
Yeah.
It's also a much bigger city, right? Frisco is way more spread out. So you have this really, I mean, depends which area you live, right? So with Southlake, it's kind of like you said.
It's more of a,
Absolutely. Also, the trees is my big thing. Like Frisco, the homes are beautiful, brand new and all that. Lots of garages in the back, not too big fan of that. Takes away a little chunk of your backyard. But then the trees are a little bit taller than I am, right? And on that. So
And
that's
he's
the big difference.
4'11".
When I jump.
Wow, just wow.
Y'all, we
He's
have
not
fun.
4'11". We do have a lot of fun here. Okay, so I have a questionnaire from Cynthia and Anthony. And you guys are looking at about the $500,000 price point, looking for the country life. And you had mentioned some cities in here, Azle, Roanoke, Springtown, Aurora, Aledo, and Granbury. And I do think you've already narrowed it down pretty well. There's definitely some differences in that. So Roanoke is going to be more suburb life, but it has such a cute downtown area. Your lots are going to be smaller. Azle we had talked about Azle earlier this week with our team. I grew up in Azle, and that is definitely a hometown feel. Azle is at about the 30th percentile for schools. It's not as, I don't know how to voice this. I don't know. It's not as up to date as some of these other towns, meaning the Azle City Council, for whatever reason, for many years, they would push businesses off because they wanted to remain small. And so they're not as up to date with stuff, but they are finally coming along. They have a lot of community events, so it's a good hometown feel. If you want to be in a country type town, hometown feel, Azle's a good one. Springtown is further out. They used to be our rival, and it's kind of shocking to me, but they are the up and coming. Like I would almost say Springtown may be more up and coming than Azle. Back in the day, it was not highly regarded, but now it is becoming that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you agree. Okay. Aledo is definitely on the high end when it comes to a country town. They are in the top like 5% of schools. Do y'all know much about Aledo? Have y'all been downtown? What does Aledo feel like to you guys?
Aledo feels more rural.
Yeah.
It is very rural. You'll find some of those newer communities, but I think that they wanted to keep it feeling the way it does. They wanted to keep it that small town feel.
Do y'all know if there's many community events there, or is it just country living, the end?
No, they do have master plan communities, like Morningstar, I believe, is a community, and Walsh
Walsh is
community out there.
So you're saying
So-
community is more in the neighborhoods versus
Yes.
the city?
That's kind of how I feel,
As
but
of
I'm
right
not sure
now,
about the
yeah, because
schools.
Alito is probably right on the brink of just getting started in building. Walsh is that new development that's going out there,
Yeah.
huge homes. And some of them have some land, some of them don't. So they
Such
kind
a
of, they're trying
wide
to-
range
yeah.
of
Yeah,
housing in
it
Walsh
is.
Ranch.
Yeah, Walsh Ranch, they have small bungalows all the way up to 4 and 5
Multi-million-dollar.
multi-million-dollar homes in that same area. So I think it's just on the cusp of getting big. And plus there's some plans for an electric vehicle company to go out in that area too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Not Tesla.
Not Tesla.
Yeah.
My only con with Aledo is because it's so new, sometimes their tax rates are higher with muds and pigs. So I've seen it go all the way up to 3.3, which is extremely, anything over 3 is too much for me.
Yeah, yeah, that is
That's
true.
very high.
Okay, very good. Well, who else do we have?
I've got Catherine and Justin, and, hi, Catherine and Justin, if you all are on, we talked yesterday extensively and, shared some emails back and forth and already touched on several areas. They're kind of in between like a master plan community, versus, a home with some property and everything. So, I sent them a lot of information yesterday, and it's Walsh Ranch. We talked about Lido. I turned them on to Lido. I turned them on to Canyon Falls,
So they're trying to determine
Vines.
between a master plan community or
getting
maybe,
a bigger footprint on a lot.
got it.
Mhm.
That's, I think, a
Yeah.
personal choice.
Yeah.
I do have opinions on that, and you can take or leave my opinions. Okay, so I had little kids, and we lived in a neighborhood. It was our dream home. And because it was our dream home, it was more expensive than probably a first, when you have little kids. And so the neighbors were older than us. My kids didn't have any friends to play with in the neighborhood. And that was really sad. And then we went through this thing called the 2008 market crash, and we had to downsize. And when we downsized, it was like heartbreaking to me because I lost my dream home. But we went into this house, and it was really amazing because there were kids everywhere. So it's a much smaller home, was not my dream home, but my kids had a blast. We had a neighborhood community pool. And so all that's being said, from my personal experience, if you have small kids, it's better to have a community. In my opinion, that's just, again, an opinion. Some people maybe want chickens and all those kind of things. And there's benefits, pros and cons to both, but that was my personal experience. And so
Trick-or-treating is a big thing.
Trick-or-treating.
There was
Yes.
nobody on the street when we went
Yeah.
trick-or-treating. Because
Yeah.
same thing with Dana. I lived in my dream home in Colleyville. We moved up, and then when Halloween came around, where's everybody? So we had to go to my brother's place,
Yes.
to go trick-or-treating next door.
yes.
So that is a big thing. So and when we lived in Grapevine, oh my God, kids were everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so much more fun. So it's exactly what Dana said.
Yeah.
And
Completely
just to add a different side to that, because I think there are some people that want that more country feel and they're not interested in the community or whatever. So if you've got kids and you're interested in raising them in more of like the land, so to speak. I grew up on a little tiny cul-de-sac where it was named after the person that lived on this side of the street, and their brother that they didn't ever speak to lived on this side of the street. And then my
Nice.
parents built a house. We were the only ones there. And there were no children. And so for trick-or-treating, no one ever came. And we had to just drive to a different, bigger city. But I loved it. I mean, we had 3 acres,
You had different
chickens, goats. It was
experiences.
a totally different experience. So, and I had no friends ever to play with in the community, but I did always kind of wish for that. But I know that there's other people that maybe wish for more land. So
Yeah, there's pros and cons
there are.
by all means.
But there's all of that available here in the Dallas-Fort Worth
Yeah,
area.
that's
So whichever
true.
one you want,
Oh,
you can get
I
it.
do want to say something. Okay, community pools, master plan, and all that are great, but don't discount suburbs that don't have a community pool because we have great rec centers here.
That is true.
Like the
Oh,
city
yeah.
of North Richland Hills, a Grapevine, and senior centers. So if you live in a suburb that doesn't have all them brand new things, the older subdivision, there's could be a great rec center
That
right
is
around
true.
the street. They
Yeah.
have great pools, fitness center, and.
This is why team's great, because I forget about some of those things.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Hills,
Keller-
if you're a
Keller
resident,
Point.
the whole membership, like for the whole year, for your whole family, is like $350.
Yeah, for the whole year.
It's
But
pretty
it's
affordable.
probably less than what you would spend on your
Okay.
HOA would be
So
more expensive.
don't always discount, don't
That
always
is
look
true.
outside the community, master plan communities.
That's a good
Yeah,
point.
that's so true because I'm in a master plan community and we have a bunch of pools, but I still find myself going to
The rec center?
the rec center
Yeah.
for sure. Like, I don't even know why we go, but it's just, so you don't have to have all that stuff in your
Right.
community.
Yeah,
And there are some new subdivisions that are not even putting in there, and don't discount those either
Yeah.
because
Oh,
there's
absolutely.
plenty of things to do.
opportunities.
They have tons of communities out there that may not have all those bells and whistles. They're not as master planned, I would call them, but they have so many. They have so much opportunity just with the surrounding areas and what's building up
Yeah.
around them.
All right, one more, Bob. What do you have over there? Who do you have?
Well, I have a gentleman by the name of Greg from Washington, actually, and he's right up my alley, to be honest with you. He's looking for some country loving. He wants to come and he wants to experience Texas.
And he
So,
wants chickens.
He wants chickens.
Give him a horse.
We-
Horse.
Yeah. But his budget is roughly around the 500,000. He's looking over actually on the east side of Dallas, actually even north of Royce City.
Oh, okay.
There, and it's called Cato Mills, which
Yeah.
is really cool because it's unincorporated land, so less Texas, so that's good. And then also into the Forney area. So he's looking on the east side of the Dallas area. He wants land. He wants about a half acre. Majority of it pretty simple, to be quite honest with you. There's a ton of stuff out in that area, and master plan communities, as we were mentioning too, in the Forney area.
You can't have chickens in master plan communities.
You can't have chickens in master plan communities. No,
The HOA
no.
does not like them.
But he's definitely looking for at least a half an acre to an acre of land, and I have no doubt that we're going to be able to find something in those areas there too.
Y'all have any recommendations for cities over there that were
Van
not?
Asselin is actually a pretty
What is
good
it?
spot. Van Asselin.
Yeah.
Van Alstine?
Yeah,
Van Alstine, yeah.
It's really
Van
far
Alstine.
east, but they have half acre and acre, and they actually have communities. So they'll parcel up the whole entire community. It's not as much your master plan with all the amenities, but they have them in 1 acre lots. So your whole entire community, and sometimes even gated neighborhoods. I've seen these up in Melissa too. And I always say, if you can't find your price point, just go a little bit further out from the city.
But that is
Yeah.
farther from Dallas though.
And
Yeah,
if
that
you're
is
looking,
farther.
but for some of those
Right.
people who work from home, that's what they look for. I've got clients looking for that right now. Their only concern really is that they have to have wired internet. They don't want the satellite dish for their internet because they work
Yeah.
from home. But a very few times have I ever run across to where you don't have at least coaxial. You might not have fiber, but coming in from the satellite comm, that's not something that we see a whole lot here.
Okay.
So even out in those cities that are further out, more rural, you can still find your half acre. And,
Okay.
and a lot of them will also allow you to have a shop too. So no, we
Ooh,
were talking
yeah.
about like no
Yeah.
chickens
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But a lot of those half acre and acre communities do allow those things because they know you want a little bit more of that lifestyle. So you want to put a 20 by 30 shop on the back of your lot, you can do that.
Okay, that's really good.
Even if they have an HOA.
That's really good. All right, let me get to the questions. Hi, Matt. Hi, good to see you guys. Good morning, team. Oh, look there. So Splatty says, "Hi, my name is Allison, and my husband Troy and myself will arrive at the end of October to meet with Katie and find the forever dream home." So she says that they've learned so much. Thanks for the updates. Okay.
Oh,
All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. We will be back next week again at 9:30 live. So feel free to post your comments or get your questions ready and fill out the Dream Home Questionnaire. I do have a, look, I got a little thing. So fill out the Dream Home. Or did you want, sorry, it's not on there now.
Because you don't like to say it, so I will say it.
Oh, okay.
And don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can get our video updates for all the things Texas.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Katie. All right, thanks, guys. Y'all have a great day.